Hey everyone, Brobuscus here, and welcome back to another Let's Watch of Death Battle. Today's episode, we got Tomura Shigaraki from My Hero Academia versus Mahito from Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, as I always say, there should be a link in the description below, and go watch the actual episode yourself. Go support the official release before watching some random guy on YouTube react to it. Since they're fully independent now, they probably need all the support they can get, okay? Got it? Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and answer the question I'm sure someone is going to ask in my comments. Hey, Brobuscus, why do you sound dead inside? And the short and simple answer is because I am. So someone on the team, or I guess the whole team really, thought, hey, for algorithmic purposes, let's upload this episode a day early. A decent idea in concept, but and probably for the better for the algorithm. We'll see what happens. But for me, I am now watching this after being at work for, I want to say, like 8.5 hours. So I am very tired. This is the first thing I'm doing this is the first thing I'm doing since being home. So there's a very strong chance that this very particular video that you are watching right now is probably not going to be uploaded until the day after this episode has aired. So in case anyone's wondering why, it is not even 6:30 at night yet, and I practically just got home from work, so leave me alone. With that being said, so if I sound more negative in this video, or if I sound like dead, it's because I am. No, I'm kidding. It's because I'm not gonna be negative today because I hate this matchup or this episode or anything like that. I just kind of hate life right now. Yeah. I mean, I when I saw the premiere go up last night, and it said, "Oh, by the way, this comes out tomorrow," I thought that was a mishap. So as did pretty much everybody else, really. I found out through notifications that there was not a mishap. This episode is actually out. A couple in particular might have actually spoiled the next time for me, and if that's the case, then please know if you're watching this, which I don't know if you are, but if people in particular, if a couple people in particular are watching this, just know I don't hold anything against you, but at the same time, hold your goddamn horses, okay? And if I did get spoiled, then that's probably not going to help my my mood in particular. I will probably explain why when I finish watching the episode. But let's talk about this matchup in particular first, because this is the matchup of the day, really. I guess in this case it'd be the matchup of the month, huh? Well, anyway, how do I know these characters? Well, I live on the internet. I think everybody here knows what My Hero Academia is, and I would probably say the same for Jujutsu Kaisen as well, now that I think about it. Me personally, I've seen up to like season 4 of My Hero Academia, and was just short of finishing season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Currently have no intentions of going back to either, but we'll see what happens, I guess. As for these characters, I really don't have much of a comment on Mahito. he was in episodes I've watched. I don't remember much of what he does. I mean, as far as like events are concerned, I know what he's capable of as far as like abilities go. As for Shigaraki, gonna be honest, I don't think too highly of him. Nor do I really think too highly of most of the villains in My Hero Academia, to be honest with you. I know I was told that I had basically stopped watching right before some big villain arc, but I had read up to. Well, I didn't like catch up. Like, I didn't read the manga or catch up with the anime or anything like that. I have been told about events that happen past what I've seen, and nothing has convinced me that nothing has convinced me to change my mind on any of the villains in My Hero, to be honest with you. I would explain why, but I feel like I probably wouldn't articulate it very well considering the lack of energy I feel today. Lack of energy and patience that I feel today. So I'm not going to get super far into it. Just know I don't really think too highly of either of these characters. Whether it be because I just don't really care for them or because I am not super well versed in them. I did watch, like I said, I watched Jujutsu Kaisen, but that was like 2 years ago at this point. And like I said, I didn't even finish season 1. I was barely paying attention by the last few episodes I watched. Which isn't really the show's fault. Mostly, anyway. I think at that point I was just kind of having a relatively short, I don't know if attention span is the right word I'm looking for here, but it's the one I'm gonna go with. So anyway, I realized I had my headphones on this whole time. I didn't need them, but anyways, whatever. Who do I think is gonna win? Who do I want to win? Who do I think is going to win? I really don't care one way or the other who wins this one, to be honest with you. I guess if I had to pick one that I would rather see win, I guess I'd go with Shigaraki. Just because I've seen more of My Hero than Jujutsu Kaisen. And therefore I'm more personally experienced with Shigaraki than Mahito. And I say that ignoring the fact that Jujutsu Kaisen has, 2 or 3 seasons right now, whereas My Hero is up to like 7 or 8. Ignoring that fact, I've still seen more, just by ratio of like how much is there versus how much I'm not really doing a great job of getting my point across. The point is, I guess I'm rooting for Shigaraki here. As for who I think is going to win, I would be very surprised if Mahito wins. Just from everything I've been told, everything I've heard, it sounds to me like Shigaraki is stronger, faster. I've heard some possible win conditions for Mahito. I know like Idol Transfiguration, domain expansion. That's the word. That's what I was looking for. My brain is just you need to understand, guys. My brain is just flatlining today. So this is probably not a great day to record this very video, but this is when the episode launched, and I'll be damned if I just let it come out without watching it for another day. Yeah. So, and yeah, but it sounds, so anyways, it sounds to me like both of them have solid win cons, but, Shigaraki's better speed is probably means he's gonna land them first. So that's just kind of the mentality I've had throughout this whole time. And it sounds to me like that's pretty much what's going to be happening here, just from everything I've been told. But I'm going to stop delaying. Let's get right into the episode.
Shigaraki versus Mahito.
The symbol of fear versus the human disaster curse.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Been animating these again.
Tenko Shimura was just a sweet, shy boy who loved superheroes.
But sometimes the hand of fate can't abide sweet shy boys.
Ruthlessly beaten and abused by his hero-hating father, Tenko pushed beyond his emotional limits until he
Lives in a
activated
society
his
I hate.
inherent
I
superpower.
all I hear is all I feel is
Something
hate.
cool like flight or super strength. In his terror, he accidentally killed his whole family. Well, except for dear old dad. That one was intentional.
Tenko wandered the streets
Sounds
alone,
like he deserved it.
silently begging for someone, anyone, to help him. If only a hero was there to save him. But instead, the only open hand he found belonged to the devil.
All for one. The greatest supervillain in history.
He took Tenko under his wing, feeding a hatred of everyone and everything, and grooming him to one day lead his League of Villains in destroying Hero Society.
With that came a new name, Tomura Shigaraki, and an absolutely nightmarish quirk, Decay. It does what it says on the tin. Anything Shiggy touches with all 5 fingers turns to dust. The perfect power for someone who just wants to destroy.
Your aura.
Pretty menacing.
That's
if
funny.
Not for that dorky-ass costume. I get it, hands are his thing, but come on. They just look so dumb and fake.
Oh, those aren't prosthetics. Those are real hands from his family that he killed, attached to his face, and explicitly commanded to be left there by his mentor so that he would never forget his rage.
Yeah.
Okay.
While his use of decay started off relatively weak, it rapidly increased in power and range as Shigaraki came into his own.
Decay isn't even limited to whatever he's touching. Anything that touches something he's decaying also decays.
Spreading like an all-consuming miasma that can wipe out anything from an enormous tower to an entire city.
If decay reaches you, your only hope is to isolate the body part that is disintegrating before it gets to something vital.
After years of training with the greatest supervillain of all time, Shigaraki was finally put in charge of his own team with one mission. He must kill his master's rival, the #1 hero, All Might.
Only to fall flat on his face.
Shigaraki was a terrible leader, quick-tempered,
Yeah.
short-sighted, and, well...
Cringe! Oh, he's just so cringe. He uses gamer lingo unironically. He whines like a baby when things don't go his way. He's the kind of guy who would say normie in real life, in front of normies.
But they say defeat is the greatest teacher of all. Only through struggle could Shigaraki manifest his dark conviction.
Right as All Might's new protege, Izuku Midoriya, was coming into his own as well.
These two rivals, the inheritors of their master's blood feud, would push themselves past their own limitations.
Especially when All Might and All for One double KO'd each other, leaving Shigaraki to lead the League of Villains all by himself.
And with the stakes higher than ever before, Shigaraki stepped up. He personally battled the monstrous Gigantomachia for a month and a half straight, and conquered other villain organizations to create the Paranormal Liberation Front. Thousands of new soldiers for his personal army.
All to impress All for One's personal quack, Dr. Ujiko, who spent months upgrading Shigaraki's body to make it more like his sensei's. It might have been constant agony, but Shiggy went from Chud to Chad.
Ujiko's experimentation vastly increased Shigaraki's strength, speed, and durability, enough to match and surpass even All Might's absurd power.
Sharing All Might's power between them, Deku and Bakugo were able to punch an island-sized hole in a cloud that reached 24 miles into the sky. We've calculated that before to be nearly 80 million megatons of TNT, almost as much as the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
And Shigaraki
Her
can now
punch,
move
I'm pretty
fast enough
sure.
that his body produces hypersonic shockwaves and can even catch laser beams.
And he's tough enough to survive Star and Stripes Intercontinental Ballistic Cruise Punch! Now the new name for my penis. Move over, gigantic Omega Storm. Anyway, it also made a blast so
Stop.
big it showed up against the curvature of the Earth.
Though he might seem invincible, when Shigaraki's body is pushed hard enough, he will evolve into a state of uncontrollable power.
So Decay became... Oh shit! More hands!
Shigaraki can spontaneously generate flesh into existence, seemingly oceans of it in an instant, whenever he wants. He can even use it as a type of armor to defend himself in close combat.
But that's nothing
Yeah, 'cause that's
compared
not
to
creepy at all.
Uzuko's greatest gift. Shigaraki wanted to be the new All for One, so what better way than the old man's quirk?
All for One's quirk, All for One, allows its user to steal
'Cause
and
that's not
store
confusing.
quirks with just a touch.
And All for One has hundreds of them stored up, collected over the years.
Each quirk is connected to a memory of its user's essence in the form of a spirit, a vestige.
Kinda like a piece of their soul. They exist in this kinda psychic world in Shigaraki's body, and can even act as a spiritual defense should it be invaded.
And with those vestiges came quirks like super fast healing, air blasts, radio waves, flight, telekinesis, teleportation of others, and the ability to track foes.
He can even combine multiple quirks together, like in this big-ass electric Kamehameha.
However, any vestige stolen or destroyed will also remove that quirk from Shigaraki's repertoire. They're also sentient, and some can even fight for control.
Which is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because Shigaraki also got All for One's vestige, that means All for One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's entire
Good
existence
thinking.
was planned from the beginning. Why? Because All Might's previous mentor was Nana Shimura, Tenko's grandmother.
Oh, that to mess with All Might. That is some next level hating right there.
He manipulated Shigaraki's entire life, all for one purpose: to create a soul so corrupted it would grind away at All Might's perfect world, allowing All for One to take full control.
But All for One's possession wasn't complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through vestiges in the process, all to fight his rival Deku one last time.
Despite Izuku's best efforts to save him, Shigaraki was too far gone. His spirit decayed by years of venomous hatred.
And the new symbol of hope defeated the new symbol of fear, burying All for One's grudge for good.
All that Shigaraki asked was to be remembered as the heartless destroyer he was raised to be, and not the broken, angry, crying little boy he really was deep inside.
For just that one moment, though, Shiggy got in Deku the only thing he'd been denied his whole life, the one thing his lifelong nihilistic tantrum was really all about. He got a hero who tried to save him.
Ever since Cain slew his brother Abel and wetted his fields with his blood, man's greatest fear has been his fellow man.
But what if this fear took on a life of its own?
What if all that negative emotion humans felt for one another spilled from their bodies and congealed, forming, over time, a living being fueled by malice, which believes in nothing but the law of the jungle?
Well, then you'd have the special grade curse with the patch face, Mahito. Oh, I've had people tell me I've become a human disaster curse when I've had too many mojitos.
Mahito is one of the deadliest beings to ever afflict mankind. He's no mere mortal, though, but a cursed spirit. Innumerable
lives in
spirits
society,
exist,
really?
weaker or stronger depending on the amount of anxieties, jealousies, hatreds, and fears humans feel about them.
Like the fear of locusts, kinda weak. Or the fear of smallpox, getting stronger. Or the fear of fire. Oh, goodbye, Tokyo.
So it follows that mankind's fear of itself would be extremely powerful. Those negative emotions manifest as Mahito, a being composed of cursed energy.
It's basically like evil ki. Cursed energy can be used to make spirits way stronger, faster, and tougher than any normal human. And it's invisible, making curses like Mahito impossible for the untrained eye to see. Only a life or death situation can galvanize a normal person to see a cursed spirit.
That also makes cursed spirits virtually immune to physical damage. They may be physically present in space, but can only be harmed by attacks that embody spirit matter like cursed energy.
Which makes curses insanely hard to
Sorry,
get
I
rid
was so
of,
quiet
like
during that, I was
ghost
eating.
cockroaches, or my ex. That's why you need
I tried to
a
finish it
Jujutsu
during the ad, it
sorcerer
didn't
to come
work.
in and Kaizen the shit out of them. They call it exorcism, but I like the way I said it better.
Curses and sorcerers have battled each other for millennia, waging an endless war over the fate of humanity. Almost exclusively in Japan, though, for some reason.
But Mahito is special. You see, most
guess all the other
curses are
countries have
basically dumb
standards.
animals, but Mahito
It's a
has so
bad
much
joke, I'm
cursed
sorry.
energy that it gave him sentience.
So he was recruited by Kenjaku alongside other special grade disaster curses to wreak havoc upon the world. In fact, they made Mahito their leader.
And even more frightening than intelligence and bloodlust, Mahito possessed philosophy.
Perhaps informed by the tragic meaninglessness of interhuman conflict, Mahito is an existential nihilist, believing in nothing but his own will to power. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and Mahito is the wolf.
Which also makes him kind of a goofball. If
Yeah.
nothing matters, why not have fun with the slaughter? Really get your steps in. He loves to dig around and toy with your emotions like a cartoon character before slitting your throat.
An appropriate analogy
Good for him,
considering
I
his
guess.
curse technique, idol transfiguration.
Using his cursed energy, Mahito can control anyone's soul with just a touch, including his own. In fact, he's so good at manipulating his own soul that you can't even kill the bastard without directly targeting it.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, the soul and the body share an immutable connection. Whatever happens to the former affects the latter.
This lets Mahito squash, stretch, and shape-shift his body into literally anything he wants,
Oh,
like Play-Doh.
my God.
He can turn his limbs into blades or clubs, grow wings like a bird or fins like a fish, reform his body around injuries, or even create clones.
Curse users are naturally unharmed by their own ability. Should he touch a human, though, his alterations to their body are
That's
instantly
messed up.
fatal.
And since he's attacking your soul, those physical wounds are gonna be impossible to heal.
Even if his alteration isn't directly fatal, the human body won't last more than a few moments in a transfigured state.
All that with one touch! God, I thought herpes was bad.
His powers mean Mahito treats humans as effectively disposable dolls that he can gleefully experiment on. The more casualties, the better, especially if he
Great.
gets to break your spirit first and watch you suffer.
Even more twisted is when he combines two transfigured humans together for soul multiplicity, essentially a giant torrent of body horror flesh that he repels at an opponent. Ugh.
Mahito is
That's a train,
unbelievably
okay.
creative with his application of idol transfiguration, and despite being a newborn curse, consistently keeps experienced sorcerers on the back foot.
It helps that he's a quick study who's picked up a number of different curse techniques, like the Black Flash.
By applying cursed energy within 1 microsecond of an impact with an enemy, space itself will distort, exponentially amplifying its force by a factor of 2.5.
Not only does this hurt like a mother, it restores your curse technique and gets you fully in the zone.
And would require reflexes moving nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound.
Wow.
It's no surprise then that Mahito also unlocked the pinnacle of sorcerer techniques, the domain expansion.
Oh shit! More hands! A domain is like a barrier of cursed energy, but if you're caught inside, Mahito can use idol transfiguration instantly without even needing to touch you.
It's called the self-embodiment of perfection, the ultimate expression of Mahito's absolute control over his victim's body and soul. The only time it ever failed was against the student sorcerer and Mahito's archenemy, Yuji Itadori.
Because not only was Yuji a barf-inducing goody little two-shoes who believed in the inalienable rights of all living things, blah, 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 he also had a curse inside of him.
The king of curses, Sukuna.
Which meant Mahito's ability affected both souls in Yuji's body. Sukuna didn't like that. No surprise, and kicked Mahito's ass, forcing Patchface to fight with a handicap whenever facing his pink-haired menace.
Yuji's belief in the value of human life flew directly in the face of the world that Mahito knew to be cruel and meaningless. So he made it his mission to crush Yuji's spirit before killing him, murdering his friends, defiling their corpses, and brutally battering him before going in for the kill.
And he's got the strength to do it. Mahito's one of the most powerful curses in the world, and his growth is exponential.
Fellow disaster curse Jogo was able to summon a massive meteor capable of reducing the city of Shibuya to ash.
That'd take an energy of over 800 kilotons of TNT.
And Mahito can take as good as he can give, especially when, in the throes of struggle against Yuji, he evolved, unlocking a vastly more powerful
I wouldn't
form,
exactly call
the
that-
instant body of distorted
Okay,
killing.
that's better.
Complete with armored exoskeleton and arm blades. This was a taste of the almighty curse Mahito was growing into. A true blight on all mankind.
It wouldn't last. In a bitter battle of resolve, Yuji won out. In a dog-eat-dog world, there was now a bigger wolf.
So he tucked tail and ran away like a bitch. And what do you know? Life suddenly became a whole lot more meaningful the second it looked like it was about to end.
All that gleeful nihilism, just a bitter hypocrisy in the end.
Or him, maybe. But Mahito found a convert in his archenemy. After a battle that wiped out thousands of innocent people, Yuji's youthful spirit was gone. The only thing left that mattered was exorcising this curse.
In a way, that was Mahito's final victory, the destruction of another human being's soul. He may not have been around to see it, but the curse Mahito inflicted on the world would bring it to its knees. Hey, do you see that join button? Yeah, that one. That's your ticket to being a Death Battle champion. As a champion, you get all sorts of exclusive Death Battle content, like extra videos, live chats, and sending us your own matchup ideas. And the support helps us make even more Death Battle. So thank you for being a champion. All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
And pause. I said pause. My mouse is a... This little thing is going to be the death of me, I swear. It keeps thinking that whenever I click on something, I'm double-clicking when I'm not. And if you know about double-clicking on a YouTube video, I was in full screen, and the video didn't pause. God damn it. Okay. Well, as far as my thoughts after this, yeah, I still think Shigaraki's going to win. I mean, it was pretty blatant that Shigaraki had a massive edge in terms of like power and speed, and this did nothing but cement that for me. I mean, we had Deku and Bakugo's feat for strength, and then catching lasers. You know, Mahito scales to Jogo, who brought down meteors, and then he can perform Black Flash. That's all well and good and whatnot, but that's nothing compared to the stuff that Shigaraki's gone up against. The thing about the domain expansion, they said that it didn't work on Yuji because you know, he has Sukuna inside of him. I feel like the different vestiges in Shigaraki are probably going to play a factor in that, especially maybe especially All for One. I guess we'll see what happens. I do think maybe Idol Transfiguration could probably... They didn't really mention any... at least I didn't pick up on any resistances to Idol Transfiguration, so... Maybe if Mahito touches Shigaraki... Maybe if Mahito manages to actually touch Shigaraki, he can do some, like, wild shit with him, but... I think I'm going to stick with Shigaraki. This seems pretty clear-cut to me. But I guess I've been wrong about that kind of stuff before, so I guess we'll see what happens. Rip. 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 Hi, how are you?
I've heard of a powerful villain stalking these parts. My organization is going to tear this putrid world down around us. We could use a freak of your talents.
Little old me. Do I want to be king of the social rejects? How about I bring them your head instead?
Fine by me. Let's call this your audition. Sick'em.
Immediately starting with no moves, okay. Well, they didn't last very long.
Game over.
Did you actually just say that? God, how lame!
Oh wow, Shigaraki's getting beat up like Mahito did.
Audition over. Did I get the part? Decay! What a rush!
Okay. Damn, Mahito's putting in the work.
That all you got? Domain expansion. I can read your soul. You're just a scared little boy whose daddy is mean and wants to make it everyone else's problem. Grow up.
Yep, hi.
Hands off my masterpiece.
Oh, just decayed the domain. Alright. And
Felt your soul too.
okay, and the train.
You only hate humanity because you were born that way. Totally random. I hate them for a reason. You grow up.
Okay. Yeah, that would do it.
What did I say, Wiz? Like a bitch.
With their complex power sets, this match was a puzzle to figure out, which is why we're breaking it down to 3 categories: physical stats, survivability, and their powers.
But first, let's address one thing. Could Shigaraki even see Mahito? He's an invisible curse after all.
Cursed energy and quirks are notably different, and Shigaraki wouldn't be able to see curses normally. However, even regular humans can spontaneously develop the ability to see curses in life and death scenarios. And with the Search quirk, Shigaraki would have had no problem tracking it.
So seeing Mahito wouldn't have been an issue. With that out of the way, we can jump into their stats.
This
Okay.
was no contest.
Yeah.
Despite the disaster curses being able to destroy entire cities with their cursed energy, Shigaraki scaling to Deku and Bakugo meant he was calculably millions of times stronger.
He was faster too, considering he could react to light beams, while Mahito's Black Flash capped out at nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. Nothing to scoff at, but Shiggy was thousands of times faster. Shigaraki takes stats.
But survivability was a little trickier to figure out.
Yep, in terms of raw durability,
feel like this is
Shigaraki was a lot
Mahito.
tougher, and his ability to generate new flesh meant that he could heal any wounds he might receive super easy.
However, Mahito is a curse and is immune to the kind of overwhelming physical damage Shigaraki could dish out. Not only that, Mahito's regenerative ability via idle transfiguration meant that he'd come back from anything short of spiritual damage.
Considering Mahito's unique curse body, he should actually get the edge in survivability.
Which presents a crucial question. Could Shigaraki even kill a curse like Mahito in the first place?
Or would Mahito's unkillability give him the time he needed to eventually put Shiggy down with idle transfiguration?
It all comes down to their powers.
Shigaraki had a lot more variety with all of the crazy quirks All For One had collected over all the years, but none that we know of could properly kill a curse. That didn't mean idle transfiguration was a surefire bet either, though.
Of all things, Shigaraki's vestiges served as a spiritual shield from the effects of idle transfiguration. The fact that Mahito could not avoid targeting Sukuna while attacking Yuji meant that he couldn't target specific souls inside a person.
And Shiggy
I
has
see.
hundreds of soul-like entities inside of him. Sure, each one down means he loses a quirk, but that's more than enough time to land a single hit with Decay, especially considering how much faster Shiggy is.
And Mahito has no way to defend against Shigaraki's primary quirk. Decay has affected spiritual beings in the past. Again, vestiges. In fact, he was able to damage Deku's vestige and have that damage transferred to the Deku in the real world.
Mahito may be made of spirit energy, but he still has a physical form. In fact, sorcerers that couldn't naturally target the soul were able to fight him on even footing. No reason to think Shiggy wouldn't decay him like everyone else.
Giving Shigaraki the third and final edge. It was a unique duel to the death, but Shigaraki's overwhelming might, unstoppable powers, and deadly decay spelled the end for the disaster curse.
Nothing else to say. You really gotta hand it to Shigaraki.
The winner is Tomura Shigaraki.
Okay.
Next time on Death Battle.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Yeah, that one hurts. Oh, God. Okay. So remember when I said that I might have gotten spoiled on that? Well, it wasn't direct, obviously, but, you know, hence the word might have been. But, so, backstory. I am researching Chief. I'm researching Master Chief for the upcoming podcast. I've been working on that for a few months now. There's a lot to cover, even to this day. So, last night, I started ranting about just how much there was to do, and was saying, you know, I'm for completely selfish reasons, I really hope that Master Chief versus Doomslayer isn't the next episode, so that I have a lot more time to research that. I got notifications today that I didn't see until after work, to be fair, but while not directly telling me, hey, by the way, sorry for being wrong, but I got messages that basically told me, hey, yeah, this fight's probably next. Yeah, also, I've been completely off center. Like, I mean, this doesn't really matter. I don't know how much centered I'm not usually, like, directly in the center of this, because obviously I have this in the way. But, I was, like, leaning off to the side. I wonder how much of me was on camera the whole time. Oh, no. I don't really care today, to be honest with you. Okay, well, damn. Well, that's... Talk about a kick in the nuts for that one. I mean, it's still a cool matchup. I'm still excited for it. I'm excited to have it happen. I'm excited for the journey to be over. Because I'm gonna say it. Once this episode is out, I don't care how deep into Halo lore I'm at right now. I'm stopping for a while. I love Halo. Okay, I've been playing a lot of Halo lately. Those are really good games with really good stories that you wouldn't expect. But there's so much to cover. I'm so glad to have it finally end. Now I can focus on another one that I've been researching for that also has a lot of media. Thank you, Death Battle. God damn it. All right. As for, you know, early bets right now, I mean, this should be kind of obvious, but Chief, I'm so sorry. I don't think you're winning that one. I mean, okay. You know, actually, I'm gonna save it because I've been researching for it. So I'm gonna save my thoughts right at the gate. But I mean, I think everybody's expecting Doomslayer to win that, and you're not gonna hear any argument from me. Though you might hear some defense for Chief. But you didn't hear that from me. Not yet, anyway. So as far as this episode goes, this was really cool. I really do need to watch it again when I'm not feeling like I said earlier, flatlined, but it was definitely a very well made episode. Moro is cooked as usual. The voice actors were phenomenal. We had Tom Shock as Shigaraki. Didn't even remember it was him, like, after like 30 seconds into the fight. And then Sean Chiplock, of all people, as Mahito. I was not expecting that. I saw that during the preview announcement, and I was like, freaking excuse me. If you don't know who Sean Chiplock is, Google it, because the man has been in way too much shit for me to list off right here. Yeah, the music was really good. I didn't really pick up on much of it during it, but I was also focusing on the action, so that's why. Yeah, I don't really have anything against this episode. I just wish it came out at a better time. I respect the commitment for the algorithmic boost. This fight's been out for like 5 hours now. 6 hours. How many views we got? Okay, we'll see what happens going forward, I guess. I guess my thing is I'm waiting to see how long it takes for them to get to 1 million. But, okay, yeah. Cool stuff. We'll see how the algorithmic boost does. Maybe this was just a fluke on my end, because today was really rough for me, but, part of me kind of wants them to go back to the original way they did this, to the original schedule. But we shall see, I guess. Yeah, I don't really have any comment about the episode, to be honest with you. It was really good. I think it's just a combination of really lack of investment and just today being tiring in general. I wasn't as excited. I don't have as much energy going into this, but, you know, later down the line, I'll give it another watch when I feel better, and I will be able to properly judge it. So all right. Well, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get going. So, by the way, oh, okay. All for One was Liam. All right. Interesting. They've updated the credits by a lot, so I'm gonna have to check this out. Oh, the soundtrack's out. Okay, well, the perks of watching it 6 hours later. But all right. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. That's all I really have to say. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry for my lack of energy. Again, this just kind of happened today. Yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.